Alright, Dolphin fans, so welcome to this year's version of the first recap for the Dolphins game. Long story short, this has normally been a hockey channel. We're going to football and hockey now. Not losing any of the hockey content, just throwing in football. I've gone back and forth over the years with doing Dolphin content or not. In the past, I didn't really have enough subscribers for it to be viable. Now we do. So, this is what we're doing. Alright, so for the process of the recaps, how we're going to do it here is a little bit different than the Panthers recaps. I will have a little short pregame thing here. I will have an intermission segment during halftime, and then the postgame. So, in terms of this game, Dolphins-Lions, I'm going to go 32-27 Miami, but don't quote me on that, okay? It could just as easily be 64-54 or something like that. The Lions' defense is bad. The Dolphins' defense is good as long as the don't break part works of the bend don't break. We've seen when they have not been able to get turnovers in the red zone, it's not exactly spectacular. So field goals, that's the key to this game here, okay? In terms of Detroit is going to move the ball on us, right? Especially now, you know, Brandon Jones is out for the year, so we've got Eric Rowe up there. You've got X and who knows who else at corner. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to need field goals. Turnovers in the red zone are going to be huge. Maybe some of those special blitzes to get a sack, strip, fumble with a return for a touchdown to help the offense out. Offense should have a decent day. Detroit's defense is bad. Tua needs to play better than he did last week. I'm confident that he will. Let's get Hill and Waddle going. And can we get the running game going? We need to get the running game going here a little bit. I would love to see Myles Gaskin get on the field instead of Edmonds, at least so we have somebody else that can catch the ball. I haven't heard anything that way so far. I'm not the coach, but if I was, it would be Gaskins instead of Edmonds, and of course Mostert has been looking good. So, all right. We'll see what happens. All right, 32-27 Dolphins, but I don't feel real strong about that either. So, it's 27-17 at halftime, Detroit. We have yet to stop Detroit. Well, we kind of did stop them, and then they fake punted from like their own 27, 30-yard line. And they got it, and they continued to go right down the field. And the only thing that stopped them from getting their fourth touchdown of the day, the only thing that really stopped them was the clock and the dude dropping the ball in the end zone. I'm 51. I've been a fan of the Dolphins since I was 1. I've seen a lot of bad defensive performances. It doesn't get any worse than this, really. I mean, at least the offense is keeping up, and that's the only bright spot. Somehow, we've allowed points in every single time that Detroit has had the ball, and it's only a 2-score game. We get the ball to start the half, so Tua looks good. Tua to Waddle, Tua to Hill, Tua to Sherfield. Looks good. The offense is doing fine, with the exception of combined, I believe the number is 47 penalties now. I believe that's where we're up to, is about 47 penalties. Look, at some point, you have to look at the refs. I mean, if you watch NFL football, you could call a penalty on every play, right? There's always something that's going on. It's up to the ref's judgment when you're going to call it, what you're going to call, for the most part, unless it's an egregious thing. These guys are just calling something every play. I mean, offense, it doesn't matter. They're just calling something every play. And I'm not blaming the refs. The defense is playing like ass, but it's like, just in case we're not playing like ass, they're calling something every play. Are we going to lose to the Lions? Are we going to lose to the Lions? A couple days ago, I put out an article, and it was my prediction for the final 10 games of the season. And it had us winning these 4 games in a row, making the playoffs. Are we going to lose to the 1-5 Lions? I mean, we can't stop them. Apparently, he made Eric Rowe inactive for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. Brandon Jones is out for the year. It's like, okay, we got Eric Rowe. He's not great. He'll do the job. He's inactive. So week by week by week, I become less of a fan of this guy as the head coach. And when you consider the fact that we are ridiculously the most penalized team in the NFL, or the discrepancy is the most. The discrepancy between penalties called against us and for us is the most in the NFL. That's coaching. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. We're going to need Tua to save this day. And we're going to have to stop them twice. Somehow we have to stop the Lions from scoring twice. That's all. All day. That's it. Just give me 2 stops, and we might win. All right. So, I predicted 32-27 Miami, and the game ends 31-27 Miami. That's not so bad. All right, that's pretty good. For those of you who are new to the channel, I do stuff like that all the time in terms of the Panthers games. But that's pretty good, calling a football score as close as you can get. So Miami gets the win. We just finished watching the Jets lose to the Patriots. I did not see that coming. So now the AFC East is a giant cluster after Buffalo, with the Dolphins and Jets at 5-3, and the Patriots are just right there at 4-4. So do not completely discount them. I know we all like to make fun of the quarterback situation there, but 4-4, you ain't out of anything in the AFC at 4-4. So what did we see from the Dolphins here today? Okay, well, Eichenberg, I haven't heard officially, but when they won't show the injury on TV and the dude gets carted off, you kind of have to assume he's going to be out for the season. I know some people will say that's no great loss. I did not get a chance to see who they put in his place, but didn't matter. Mostert had a decent day running the ball. Tua had a spectacular day throwing the ball, 360 plus yards. That's the last statistic that I saw. And the defense did what it needed to do in the second half, clearly. Now, I had a Lions fan in the chat. We were streaming the entire game. We streamed the full games. And he was saying that this is the Lions' MO, where they play really well in the first half, and then in the second half they find a way to disintegrate, which is exactly what they did. Lions last drive, they have a 4th and 2, a 4th and 3. They're driving the ball. We're not really slowing them down. And Campbell calls this bomb to the end zone instead of just hitting the guy in the flat who was wide open all day long and continuing the drive. So, not impressed. Really wasn't impressed with any of the coaching today from the standpoint of who are we blaming the penalties on. I mean, there had to be 6 lined up in the neutral zone penalties. Either team, there had to be 6. Now, the Dolphins had 7 penalties in the first half, declined. Okay? It was terrible. Every other play was a penalty, and sometimes it wasn't even every other play. So I don't know if it was the referees just calling it that close, or both teams were just ass in terms of trying to even play within the rules of the game even a little bit. But we get the win. What else can we see? Hill and Waddle did their thing. All right? Hill, Waddle, Tua, Gesicki looked good. Sherfield had a couple of good catches. Sanders played in his first game as a Dolphin and proceeded to cough up the ball the first time he caught the ball. No, bye. We don't need that, right? We're not interested in that. I saw that Ahmed actually got on the field. I was a little bit surprised. I guess Coach just has completely discounted Myles Gaskin at all, because Edmonds just doesn't look all that good. And when you're trying to run out the clock towards the end of a game, Gaskin's got a little bit more size. I'd like to see him out there, but he hasn't even played. So I guess if somebody gets hurt, we'll have a fresh Gaskins. Secondary looked like an absolute dumpster fire in the first half. It got better as we went. We had a little bit more pressure in the second half, which definitely helped. I think we got 1 sack at Goff. It might have been 2, but one of the late ones, Agba got the pressure, and then Seigler finished it up, and that really helped us out. A win is a win, and if you read my article that I wrote before, earlier in this, what was it? It was the picks article, and in the pregame, I kind of said, look, this is a non-conference road game. those are tough sometimes because you're not familiar with the team. There's no rivalry, so you're not really getting up. Nobody's getting up to play the Lions or next week the Bears, right? You're going to have to go out there and win those games, and those teams are not great, so it's a home game. They want to play well in front of the fans. And so those non-conference road games, they can tend to be tough. We have another one next week. I suspect that one might be a little bit less high scoring. You know what I mean? The Lions are capable of putting up points, as you saw. So, all right, I'm gonna probably. This is the first week I'm starting back up with the football content. I have some ideas in my head about how I want to move forward with that. I know that I'm going to be doing the live streams. I know I'm going to be having the recaps like I'm doing now. I know I'm going to be having a preview and an NFL picks video later on in the week. Not sure if I'm going to be doing more in-depth Dolphins reviews or an NFL weekend review or something like that on Monday or Tuesday. So I'm still tossing that idea around in the head. But for the hockey people, don't worry. No less hockey content. The hockey content will not be affected by the football content. The only thing that will be affected by all the extra content is my voice. Dolphins win. 31-27. A win is a win is a win is a win. You had to have this. You absolutely had to have this one. Okay? And I probably will do something more in depth tomorrow. I think that would be the best thing, is to keep these recaps as tight and short as possible, and then have a more in-depth thing the day after. So look for that. Look for that. Appreciate everybody who came out for the stream. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please. We are closing in on 6,000 subscribers. I can't get to 10 without getting to 6. You see what I'm saying? So appreciate all the support. Dolphins win. We'll take it. We'll take it.